You ever just see a video of like a horrible accident and while you're watching, you're just kind of like, ugh, but you can't stop watching, but you're kind of looking away, but you don't want to stop because you want to see where it's headed, even though you're disgusted and you wish it would end? That's what's happening with gaming right now, dude. It feels like every fucking day that I open my internet, I look at some stupid story about how everything is getting worse. Everything from layoffs to studio shutdowns to games being canceled to prices of things reaching outrageous highs and that they'll never come back down, to today's news that PlayStation is officially ending all physical game sales and that everything will be digital only. Probably backed up by the fact that GTA 6 is a digital only game and will be a digital only game for all foreseeable time, and the fact that the gaming as we knew it when we were growing up is officially dead and gone, dude. That era's over. It's a whole new era now, and all that matters at the end of it is that these corporations can bleed everyone for every single dollar that they have, because that's all that matters, dude. It's corporations chasing the almighty dollar, and we're just caught up in that cycle, and it's never gonna end, dude. It's never gonna fucking end. Games are getting more expensive. Consoles are going to astronomically high prices. We're getting completely shut out of hardware at this rate because it seems like they want to force us into a cloud gaming situation where we don't own any piece of hardware and everything is just streamed, so that everything is license-based, so that if they want to shut it down, they can. They don't want you to play a game, you won't. I don't know what's happening. And it feels like every day is just more and more bad news. Sure, we're getting some of the greatest and most fun games that we've ever had, and we keep getting great games, and great games continue to come out week after week, and that's awesome. And that's great for everybody who plays games, because we'll have a never-ending supply of excellent games. Awesome. Until they shut those studios down, until they decide that because the games didn't sell whatever amount of X copies they needed to sell, because for some reason now, every game costs like $300 million to make, so if you don't make $1 billion, you're fucking dead. They'll shut you down in a heartbeat. They don't care. At the end of the day, to them, it doesn't matter that you're a fan of the game. It doesn't matter that this game is held in such high status to everyone who's a gamer and that we love this game, we need more of it. They don't care. Did it make money or did it not make money? And if it didn't make money, see you later. Because what we have here is hard evidence that these companies only want to pursue opportunities that will give them the most amount of value in return. It's why we have PlayStation admitting that they're going to double, triple, quadruple down on live service games, even though they just canceled like 15 out of 20 live service games because they were fucking trash and they knew that they were going to be a disaster. But why give up there? Why stop? And the ones that they did release have failed terribly. Concord was and is the worst disaster in gaming history. To spend $200 million, $300 million on a game, release it, and shut it down within a week and refund everyone because that's how bad your game was, because nobody fucking played it, nobody fucking bought it, so you just remove it from the history of gaming and you want to try again. How many amazing single-player experiences could you have made for that same amount of budget? How many great, smaller multiplayer games that aren't based around live service could you have made for half of that budget? But it doesn't matter, because you know what makes a lot of money? Live service game. You know what generates billions upon billions of dollars? Fortnite, Roblox. Why stop? Why make Horizon? Why worry about Horizon 3 when we can give you Horizon Hunters Wild or whatever the fuck it's called? That MMO that not allowed to say, but it's not good. Then also, they're also doing a Horizon MMO because why not, dude? Why not try and force these huge multiplayer experiences on you that'll be full of microtransactions so that you're gonna just spend your money daily? They'll capture you as a daily active user because that's what matters now. The monthly active user, that's what we're going for. How many monthly active users are there? That's what matters. That's all we care about because that's a large number that we can feed advertising and sales to, and we can get this large amount of people to spend their money. If we got 100 million people playing a month, that's 100 million potential people that will spend money daily. And that's all that matters. That's what it's becoming. Gaming has slowly turned into this thing where it was less about delivering art, artistic vision, excellent, incredible gameplay experiences. And it has turned into something where the overall goal now is to basically deliver you Marvel slop. Something that is safe, something that is high production value, something that is appealing to your eyes, and they know that will generate an easy income for them. They know it works. It's a safe bet. Because why try on something that takes a risk? A risk means you might not make your money. A risk means that your $100 million might go to waste. A risk means that all that time and effort you spend developing a game might be completely useless because if you don't hit whatever goal they set out for you, your game is done for, dude. And now they don't want you to trade in games. They don't want you to buy used games. They don't want you to hand a game over to your friend and say, hey man, borrow this because it's really fucking awesome. Those days are done. And yeah, they've been done on Xbox for a long time, and they've been done on PC for an even longer time than that. And they've been done for me for a really long time. I'm a digital only guy, so to me, it's all old news realistically. PlayStation ending their physical sales doesn't really affect me in any way at all, but it affects a lot of you. And realistically, if I say a lot of you, also in the grand scheme of things, I think total physical sales in gaming is something like 4 or 6%. There are very few people who are pure physical only gamers, but I still understand, man. I still remember the good old days, walking into fucking EB Games, walking into Blockbuster, seeing the walls of games and just being so excited to pick out a new one and give it a try. That was some of the best times, man. And it feels so much cooler and so much better as a gamer to walk into a store and see a shelf of games and be amazed by the box art than it is to scroll through a digital library like a fucking loser scrolling through Netflix, wondering which stupid game you're gonna play, and then ending up playing God of War for the 17th time because you can't decide what else there is to play. And that's what's gonna happen, man. That's the goal of this as well. They're hoping that you're just gonna end up playing those games that you already have, hopefully a live service game, so that you spend more and more money on that. And the only time you're gonna buy a new game is when they're forcing it down your fucking throats, like they are with GTA 6, which has more advertising on PlayStation than any other PlayStation first-party title in history, dude. Because, guess what? GTA 6 is gonna sell 1 billion copies. And you know who's gonna get a 30% cut from every single one of those sales? PlayStation. So why not, dude? Every time you buy Shark Card, every time you buy GTA Bucks, PlayStation gets a cut because you're gonna play it on PlayStation. So it's only good for them, man. Why not? There are a lot of people who just want to sit down and have an amazing gameplay experience. A lot of that stuff is getting pushed to the side. It's why even with the Xbox layoffs that are looming, which imagine all the people working at Xbox, working their 9 to 5, sitting at their desk, developing Blade or whatever, and every time they open Twitter, all they see is a story saying that they're about to be shut down. You think that makes you want to keep working on the game? How about all the people who presented their games at the Xbox event? State of Decay 3, Senua, they're on the verge of shutdown. Compulsion Games just won an award for South of Midnight, being like this legacy title, such artistic vision and value. Well, guess what? Nobody fucking played it because they didn't like that there was a black girl in it, and nobody bought it because they're not gonna buy it at full price a year later when it released on PS5. They play it on Game Pass. So it didn't sell any copies, and now they're on the way out. State of Decay 3, taken way too long. That video being at the presentation, that was your last attempt at potentially securing a buyer. And if you don't, see ya. Senua, good luck. They don't care, man. All they see is dollar signs. What's the return? How much did it cost? How much are we gonna make? And guess what? They're not gonna make fucking anything because nobody on Xbox buys games. So the only chance of success is by releasing it multi-platform, which for some reason they don't want to do for half of these games because they think like, oh, we gotta give it back to the Xbox gamers. Xbox gamers need that. Everybody is just fucking each other up with bad decision after bad decision, trying to appease these people, trying to deny these people, and all it comes around in is to hurt the games industry as a whole, dude. To hurt gamers as a whole, to cause problems within the industry. We're watching the industry literally fall apart day by day and become something entirely new. And there's nothing we can do about it except sit back and, I mean, you can vote with your wallet. You can buy the games that you want and don't buy the games that you don't want and send a message that way. But unless everybody agrees to that, which they never will, nothing's gonna change. They'll just shift their strategy and they'll try something new and they'll get people that way. You can see it happening. RAM is becoming unobtainable. Hardware is becoming unobtainable. So they'll offer you a digital only future, a cloud streaming future, where you can play a monthly subscription price to play whatever games you want. And now they got you on that. And now you're sucked into that new system because it's a cheaper alternative than spending $1,500 on a PS6 or whatever. It feels like everything sucks. But I don't want it to suck. And the games don't suck. And that's one thing that we still have, dude. The games don't suck. Sure, the industry sucks. Sure, the people at the top fucking suck and they should all go. But there are still people who want to just make great games for people like you and me to enjoy. And that's what it's all about, dude. So as long as we still have the great games, I mean, they got us for that. but I just kind of want the bad news in the games industry to stop, man. They gotta start figuring shit out because this is not good. And I think a lot of it stems from Microsoft. I mean, it's very obvious. They're a big part of the problem with the AI bubble and making the price increase on all sorts of that shit related to AI. And then they're a big part of the problem with buying everybody to put them on Game Pass, which didn't work, and now they're cutting everybody. So all that generational talent is just gonna be lost because Microsoft can't figure their shit out, dude. So at the end of the day, if anybody's to blame, maybe it is Xbox. Maybe Xbox is the worst thing to ever happen to gaming. Maybe. It's just bad news central, man. It's hard to hope for a brighter future when every day is bad, when every bit of news is bad. But we gotta keep having hope, dude. Have hope that GTA 6 will be incredible. Maybe don't spend your money on shark cards. Show them that that's not what you want. The game is what I want. The amazing single player dedicated experience is what I want. The online I'm interested in. But do I want it to be microtransaction hell? No, I don't. Do I think people should have the ability to buy physical if they want to? Yes, I do. I don't buy physical, but I think the options should exist. And they say it's to prevent piracy or whatever like that. I doubt it. Piracy isn't that, but maybe it will be when everything is costing a fucking fortune. People will look to alternatives because you're forcing them to. Because you're asking them to pay 170 Canadian dollars for the digital deluxe edition of Grand Theft Auto 6. And you're asking them to pay $1,700 Canadian after tax for a Steam machine. And then you're asking them to pay $1,000 or whatever for a PS5 Pro. Oh, how come they don't want to spend money? How come people are trying to get our games for cheaper? Use your fucking brain, dude. Maybe gamers as a whole should push back and not just eat up everything these people say. Let's say fuck these guys, you know what I mean? A lot of the times they deserve it. Not for everything, but a lot of the times they absolutely do. So you know what? Let them know.